note E above middle C can be modeled by y equals 0.5 times 660 pi t.
Do you know what the note E above middle C is?
No.
You know what middle C is? You're not, you haven't ever studied music?
Yes.
Okay. How do you do? Are you doing? Okay. For Sarah and Lily, they need their worksheet in front of them while they do this. Watch this video. So get your worksheet out before you start doing it. All right, number one. This is a regular sine equation. What is the amplitude?
0.5.
0.5. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, if we get an answer that you guys don't see, please ask. Because I need to make sure you know what all these letters are doing. All right, what is the period? Is the period
1 over 330.
I think it's 2 pi over 660 pi, which reduces to 1 over 330? Okay. Same thing we've been doing, right? Okay. 2, a rodeo performer spins a lasso. Have you ever seen one do that?
Yes.
It's pretty cool looking, isn't it? The height is given as this. And it gives you your equation where t is time in seconds. What is the highest point reached by the knot? Okay, highest point. If I were to go, 6.5. Because is it the amplitude plus the vertical shift? Do you agree?
Yes.
It's just 6.5. That's it.
It's just 6.5. We don't have a unit. Okay, what is the lowest point it's going to go?
0.5.
First, say it's vertical shift minus.
Because it's shifted up 3.5, and from there it's going to go down 3, right? Now, the hard question is, what is the period?
6 over 5. No. Yeah, 6.5.
6 over 5? Is it 2 pi divided by 5 pi over 3?
Yes.
Which is 2 pi times 3 over 5 pi? Which becomes 6 over 5? Right?
Yes.
Now, according to the model, find the height of the knot after 25 seconds. That means you type it in your calculator, and what is T? 25. Make sure you're in what mode? What?
But you don't need to be in. You're not graphing it, right?
No, you're just typing in T to be 25. Two? 2 units. We don't know what it is, but it's 2 units. I would bet it might be, if we're in American units, probably feet would be my guess. I can't imagine that it would be yards or miles. So,
That would be insane if it was. And also,
okay. This is how sine and cosine is used in real life. So, are you with me? Everybody okay with what we've answered so far? Everybody get 2 on that one? Did you get it? Okay. Number 3, in a certain region with hawks and rodents. The rodent varies according to this, and the hawk varies according to this one. With T measured in years, this is an old one, since January of 1970. What was the population of rodents on January 1st, 1970? That means when T is 0. What is R? Guys, anybody know what the sign of 0 is? Do you? Is it 0, isn't it?
Yes.
Because isn't that the first point I plot? Is 0, 0? So on the rodents, don't I actually have 1200 plus 300 times 0? So what's the population of rodents? 1200. That's what my vertical shift is. It's my original amount. I'm trying to stay close to the microphone. They tell me I walk away from it too much. Okay, what's the population of hawks then? 250. Remember, vertical shift is my original amount. 250, is it a hawk's vertical shift 250?
Yeah.
All right, what is the maximum number of rodents and hawks? The maximum number is the highest number it goes to when we graph it. What would the rodents be?
1,500.
1,500? Well, doesn't it have a shift of 1,200 though? So if it shifts 1,200 and then 300 from that? 1,500? What about hawks? What? 275. I just didn't hear what you said.
Okay.
I wasn't
For a question.
questioning you. I just didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Now, do these occur at the same time? How would you know?
I'm putting in the same.
Well,
Can you do y equal, just graph both of them?
you could graph both of them if they occur. You know the highest point on the graph, right? Could you look and see if it ever happened at the same time? Now, when we put this in, what's going to be our x minimum? 0, because 0 is the least amount of time. What do you think our x maximum should be?
365.
Huh?
365 days.
Is it just one, you think 1 year?
Maybe. Oh wait,
It's
oh,
measured
that was
in years.
Oh yeah, never mind.
So how far ago was 1970?
50.
50 years ago, so let your x maximum would be 50. Honestly, we don't care about x scale. We're just looking to see if they're both high at the same point.
So we can just put x scales for them.
Yes.
That's going to be logic.
And then isn't your y maximum going to have to go up to 1,500?
Yeah.
Because that's the highest amount.
This feels very sciencey.
Very sciencey.
Like physical science.
This one is, but the music one wasn't. What do you think? Did they ever get to the highest point at the same time?
I would assume that if there were more hops, it'd be faster. It's not assumed.
What did we put in for T?
X.
So we do 1,200 plus 300, just like.
Just type in equation, one is y1, one is y2. And tell me, are they ever at the highest point at the same time? you think? Does anybody have it in? All I want to know is, here is my, one of them does this, and one of them does this, right? Are they ever up at the top at the same time? What?
Is that the
Yeah,
top just squiggly?
okay, where's your, so are they ever,
Mine's blue. My bottom one's red.
you can't tell. Okay, let's make it a smaller group. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. Kind of what Sandy said. When there are more, what do hawks eat? Rodents. So if there are more hawks, there should be less rodents. So, you think no?
It looks like they're exact opposite of each other.
Yeah, they probably are. More hawks, fewer rodents. Hawks get killed, rodents grow. It's a process.
At the moment that the hawks start decreasing, it's start increasing.
Five. I think that is the answer. Right?
What?
5 years. Oh wait, yeah.
Are you on D?
Yeah. Are we not on B?
We were on C. The answer was no.
Oh shoot, I did not see that. Okay.
All right, D. When was the maximum number of rodents? When the first time? Try T equals 1, and what happened? Try T equals 1.
1.
1,500.
Is that the most amount there is?
Yes.
So that's the first time it happened. Okay, after, no, not one what?
Year.
Year. So maybe that's going to happen in January of,
Next year.
which is what?
71.
71.
What do you want to bring up?
January 71.
Oh.
Okay. Let's go on to 4 to make sure we finish. Okay, you all know what we're talking about with the hawks and rodents, right? All right. A leaf floats on the water. Have you ever seen a leaf float on the water?
Yep.
What happens to it?
Lines.
No, it goes up and down. If it's on like a lake or
Oh, like the water's moving.
or how about an ocean?
Yeah.
In a lake or an ocean, doesn't the water move? So what does a leaf do? A leaf doesn't just lay in the same spot. It goes up and down, right? That's what this one deals with. A leaf floats on the water, bobbing up and down. The distance between its highest and lowest point is 4 centimeters. Okay? So the leaf goes up and the leaf goes down. This is 4. All right? It moves from its highest point to its lowest every 10 seconds. That means my period is what? What is it? It moves from its highest to its lowest. If this is 10 seconds, is this 20 seconds? So a period is 20 seconds. Does that make sense to you? So how would I find B? Is the period equal to 2 pi over B? So 20 equals 2 pi over B?
Divided by 2 pi by 20.
Wait a minute, let's read this again. It moves from its highest down to its lowest and back to the highest in 10 seconds. I read that wrong, didn't
But
I?
it's total.
So the period is what? 10. Sorry, I tried to read that too quick. So is B equal to 2 pi over 10? So what is B? Here I multiplied both sides by B, so I said 10B equals 2 pi. So B is 2 pi over 10. So it's pi over 5 is B. I want to write a cosine function. So I have B, and by the way, there's no phase shift or vertical shift on this one. What I'm missing is amplitude. 2? It is 2? Because it goes, it's from top to bottom is 4, and in amplitude half of that? So would you agree for number 4, my equation is y equals 2 cosine pi over 5, and I put t, but it could be x, whatever letter you want to use. Are you with me? Okay. Everybody have this written down so I can switch it? Number 5, write a sine function that models the oscillation of tides in Savannah, Georgia. You all know what tides are, right? You've learned this in science. They go up and down. The equilibrium is 4.24. That's the vertical shift. Okay? The amplitude is 3.55 feet. The phase shift is negative 4.68 hours, and the period is 12.4 hours. What am I missing? B. Aren't I? So, how do I find B? The period equals 2 pi over B. Right?
So couldn't you just say B equals 2 pi over 3?
Say what?
Couldn't you just flip the formula around and say B equals 2 pi
Yes,
over 3?
just like I did?
Yeah.
Yes. Right? Now, the problem here is I cannot have a fraction or a decimal in a fraction. So is my my fraction 2 over 12.4? 2 over 12.4 times pi. Can I put this fraction in my calculator and get a real fraction?
Five
5 over 31? Go to math, arrow, frac.
Did we say 10 over 6?
No, we decided 5 over 31.
Oh, yeah, I see. And math. Hit math track and it goes through this. Mine sometimes does that. I don't really know why it does that.
Did
You gotta get
you
it
put
all
pi in it? You can't have pi.
Oh.
Yeah,
So just divide it by.
Yeah, you can't have pi in it. You have to just do the fraction.
Oh.
Just put 2 divided by 12.4 and I hit math frac and it just does that.
had gone down too many lines to do it. It had rounded too much. So are we okay with 5 pi over 31? So how do I write my equation? Y equals, what's my amplitude?
3.55.
Sine. Isn't my phase shift C over B? So the easy way to do this is to write it this way. That's a 5. Because remember when I put a number out front, it's divided? So if I put the B out front of this, it takes care of the C over B. And I don't have to do a whole nother production with that.
Is it still coming out the same?
Yes, ma'am? It is plus, because remember when we did the C, it was a minus C? When we did BX minus C, so it would be minus a negative 4.68. Did I tell you this would be hard on your own? Or was that? All right. Number 6. The mean average temperature in Buffalo. What does that mean? What is mean average? Means just average, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a redundant sentence there. Is
There's
47.5 degrees.
cancels out right.
What?
There's no average, it just cancels out right.
The temperature fluctuates 23.5 above and below the mean temperature. If 1 represents January, the phase shift of the function is 4. Can we write a sine function? Can we?
Sure.
What do we know?
Is the vertical shift 47.5?
Yes, ma'am? So all
Would that
I'm
not be the
missing,
amplitude?
huh?
Would that not be the amplitude, 47.5?
No, the amplitude would be what?
Fluctuation.
The fluctuation, 23.5. Do you agree? So what am I missing? I'm missing B again. What?
So why are we always missing B?
Because that's what affects everything is the period. So what is the period? Anybody know? It is 12, because 12, they're talking about a month. How many months are a year? 12. So can you, knowing the period is 12, can you find B for me?
Pi over 6.
Do you agree? 5 or 6? Okay. So my equation is y equals, we said A was 23.5, didn't we? Sine pi over 6. And once again, because I know the phase shift and it's C over B, I put B out front of the parentheses, right? Isn't that what I did on the last one? And is it minus 4 or plus 4?
Minus.
Minus. Plus. 27.5? Do we agree? Everybody okay with that? How would I find the average temperature in March? 3 in for what? T? Or X or whatever? Could I type that equation in? Now, remember, you're taking sine of all of this. All of this is your angle. Just because I didn't distribute the pi over 6.
So is that the same way on the other one?
Yes. What'd you get? Couple people are still putting it in. Let's give them a minute. I think the answer is 35.8 degrees, so if I round to tenths, isn't it? Did y'all get that?
I did not.
You did not?
I changed it.
Isn't that a 4?
Yeah, it is a 4.
Why do you have a 1?
Because I thought I was looking at March, but I got that.
23.5 times 6.
Oh, it's not degrees. Hell.
Did you use this X?
I did, yeah.
What are we doing?
It's a good question.
You got it? What's 3.5?
I have no idea. I got like 59 or something.
Oh, you didn't put 3 in for X.
Oh, that's what I didn't do. Okay.
You put X in.
What was the answer supposed to be?
35.8.
I have 32.
23.5. You've got to put, okay,
I-
you've got this, see the parentheses are wrong.
Okay, so you just delete the first one. Or is there a way to move them? Or do you have to add another one?
Add another one.
Okay.
But let X be 3. Did you all get it? Are you doing the same thing they're doing? No, oh, well, you want to graph it, then you want to put an X. X is here. Here's that X. There you go, 2 of them. Okay, don't hit clear, because you can go back and correct, rather than have to start over every time. Are you good?
Yeah.
Liz, you get it? Did you get it that time?
Yeah.
David?
Yes, I did.
We're good. All right. We're close to out of time, so I would like to look at number 7. All right? Are we there on number 7? Find the amplitude of a sinusoidal function that models the monthly temperature. What is the lowest temperature on this model? 73?
Yeah.
What is the highest?
81.
Now, isn't amplitude half that height? So 81 minus 73 is 8. What's the amplitude? 4. Agreed?
Yes.
So if the amplitude is 4, the vertical shift is the middle of the graph. If the lowest is 73 and the highest is 81, isn't the middle 77?
Degrees.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
So the vertical shift is always the middle.
Yes. It's always the middle. Okay, what is the period? 12? 12 months?
Oh, yeah.
Do we have 12 numbers there? So that'd be the period. So what I want to do is write a sinusoidal function. All right? This one's going to be a little bit more difficult, so I want you to stay with me on this one, okay? Because what did it not give you? Phase shift. Right? It did not give you phase shift. So that's why it's a little bit more difficult. Now, would you all agree that B is pi over 6?
Yeah.
Because we found that on the last problem, didn't we? So I have y equals, why is it a negative 4? Why is the amplitude negative? Does the graph start at the bottom? That's why it's negative. All right? And it is a sine graph. B is pi over 6. T minus, this is what I'm missing, right? Plus 77. Everybody with what I've done so far? Everybody okay with that? Now, in order to find this right here that I'm missing, I'm going to call it X. I have to plug in a T and a Y. So I have to pick a T and a Y, a month and an amount. I'm going to pick the month of June. Okay? What would T be? 6. I chose the month of June because look what it's going to do to my denominator. When I distribute this, if this is 6, is it going to be gone? That's why I chose June. So I have 79 equals negative 4 sine of pi minus pi over 6x plus 77.
On this it says, on D, it's using T equals 1.
I know, but that's harder.
Oh,
So that's why I chose this one.
so we don't have to do that if it says use that?
It doesn't matter.
Oh,
We're doing this together, Sammy. We get to choose what we want to do.
nice.
All right, you guys haven't totally learned how to now go to the angle. So we're going to call that good at that point, but does it make sense what we had done?
Yes.
And guess what? We are out of time.